Most people are not failing because they lack talent. They are failing because they lack daily improvement. You don't need a new year. You don't need a new opportunity. You don't need a dramatic breakthrough. You need a decision to become 1% better today, because your life does not change in leaps. It changes in layers. Small mental shifts, small disciplined actions, small courageous choices, repeated daily. That is how average becomes exceptional. That is how potential becomes performance. Now let's bring it all together. Improvement begins in the mind. Before your life changes on the outside, something must shift on the inside. Your mindset is the control center of your destiny. The way you think determines the way you decide, and the way you decide determines the direction of your life. If you do not master your thoughts will master you. Every limitation you experience first existed as a belief. Every breakthrough you will ever have will first be born as a new way of thinking. That is why the greatest battle you fight daily is not with people, not with circumstances, but with perspective. If you see yourself as average, you will perform at an average level. If you see yourself as incapable, you will subconsciously avoid opportunities that require courage. But when you begin to think with intention, when you choose to believe that growth is possible, you activate potential that has been dormant. Growth is not accidental. It is intentional. It begins the moment you take responsibility for your mental environment. What are you feeding your mind? What conversations are you allowing to shape your confidence? What internal narratives are you repeating every day? Your mind is like soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant doubt, you will harvest hesitation. If you plant discipline, you will harvest strength. A 1% improvement in your mindset could mean replacing one negative thought with a constructive one. It could mean choosing learning over complaining. It could mean reading 10 pages instead of scrolling endlessly. Small mental adjustments create powerful internal momentum. When your thinking expands, your vision expands. When your vision expands, your actions stretch to meet it. You must also learn to challenge yourself. Growth begins at the edge of your comfort zone. If your thinking never stretches, your life never stretches. Ask yourself better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of saying, I can't, ask, how can I? That shift alone is more than motivation. It is transformation. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control your response. And your response is born from your mindset. Master your mind, and you position yourself to master your future. Small disciplines create massive results because life responds to consistency. Success is not built on occasional effort. It is built on repeated action. What you do daily matters more than what you do once in a while. 1% better each day may not feel dramatic, but it compounds quietly. The power of improvement is not in intensity, it is in repetition. A single workout will not transform your body, but consistent training will reshape it completely. Reading one page may not make you an expert, but reading every day builds wisdom that sets you apart. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you are becoming. It is choosing what you want most over what you want now. The problem is not that people lack dreams. The problem is that they lack structure. Without daily disciplines, desire fades. You cannot rely on emotion to build a future. You must rely on commitment. Small actions done consistently rewire your identity. When you wake up early repeatedly, you become disciplined. When you practice your craft daily, you become skilled. When you manage your time intentionally, you become productive. Compounding works whether you notice it or not. If you improve slightly every day, you build positive momentum. If you neglect small responsibilities daily, you build negative momentum. The direction is determined by habits. Every habit is a vote for the person you are becoming. One disciplined decision may seem insignificant, but over months and years, it creates separation between average and exceptional. Massive results are rarely the product of massive action. They are the outcome of small actions performed with unwavering consistencies. Your habits are the silent architects of your future. They operate quietly, often unnoticed, yet they shape your destiny more powerfully than your intentions. Every day, you are becoming someone through repetition. The question is not whether you have habits. The question is whether your habits are building you or breaking you. What you repeatedly do forms your identity. If you repeatedly delay, you become a procrastinator. If you repeatedly prepare, you become dependable. If you repeatedly learn, you become valuable. To improve 1% every day, you must audit your habits daily. Self-examination is a sign of maturity. Most people drift through life on autopilot, never stopping to analyze why they feel stuck. They blame circumstances, they blame other people, they blame timing, yet they rarely examine their routines. But your routine reveals your priorities. Your calendar exposes your focus. Your daily choices expose your direction. A daily audit does not require hours. It requires honesty. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what moved me forward today? What held me back? Where did I invest my time? Where did I waste it? Awareness creates control. You cannot change what you refuse to confront. If you discover that distraction consumes your mornings, then adjust your mornings. If you discover that negative conversations drain your energy, then adjust your associations. Improvement begins the moment you become conscious of your patterns. Small habits repeated carry enormous power. 10 minutes of exercise may not seem significant, but over months, it transforms your health. 30 minutes of focused learning may not seem dramatic, but over a year, it separates you from the crowd. Habits compound quietly. They either build momentum or create limitation. There is no neutral ground. Every action is either an investment or a withdrawal from your future. Do not attempt to change everything at once. Transformation is not about intensity, it is about consistency. Replace one poor habit at a time. Add one productive routine at a time. When you focus on small adjustments, you create sustainable growth. And sustainable growth builds confidence. When you prove to yourself that you can keep small promises daily, your self-trust increases. And when self-trust increases, discipline becomes natural. Growth will always feel uncomfortable. If you feel comfortable, you are likely maintaining, not advancing. Comfort preserves the status quo. Growth disrupts it. Every level of improvement requires leaving behind something familiar. The seed must break before the tree can rise. That breaking process is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. When you begin waking earlier, your body resists. When you begin exercising discipline, your emotions protest. When you begin setting higher standards, some relationships shift. That discomfort is evidence of expansion. Pressure is not your enemy. Pressure reveals capacity. Muscles grow by resistance. Character grows by challenge. Confidence grows by facing what once intimidated you. If you avoid discomfort, you avoid development. A 1% improvement often means doing the slightly harder thing. It means choosing preparation over procrastination. It means choosing silence over argument. It means choosing focus over distraction. These decisions may feel small, but they stretch you beyond yesterday's limits. Embrace the tension between who you are and who you are becoming. That tension is growth in motion. Do not interpret discomfort as failure. Interpret it as evidence that you are moving forward. When you consistently step into what stretches you, your tolerance for challenge increases. What once seemed difficult becomes normal. What once intimidated you becomes routine. Expansion becomes your new comfort zone. And each day you lean into that slight discomfort, you build resilience, strength, and capacity for greater responsibility. Progress is more powerful than perfection. Many people delay growth because they are waiting to get everything right. They postpone action until conditions feel ideal. They hesitate because they fear mistakes. But perfection is an illusion that keeps potential trapped. If you focus on being flawless, you will become fearful. If you focus on being better, you will become unstoppable. Improvement is not about eliminating every weakness overnight. It is about reducing error gradually, and increasing strength consistently. When you measure progress instead of perfection, you free yourself to move. Growth is rarely dramatic. It is subtle. It is incremental. Some days the improvement will feel invisible. Some days you will question whether you are advancing at all. But progress does not always announce itself loudly. Often it reveals itself over time. The discipline you practice today may not show results tomorrow, but it is shaping the person you are becoming. Perfection demands immediate excellence. Progress demands daily commitment. One is rooted in ego. The other is rooted in maturity. When you chase perfection, you become discouraged by small failures. When you pursue progress, you interpret failures as feedback. Feedback is valuable. It shows you where to adjust. It highlights areas for refinement. It strengthens your awareness. A 1% improvement mindset understands that mistakes are not identity. They are information. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. Comparison with others creates insecurity or arrogance, neither of which produces growth. There will always be someone ahead of you and someone behind you. But your true competition is your previous standard. Did you focus better today than yesterday? Did you manage your time more intentionally? Did you respond with greater patience? These small victories accumulate. When you track your growth, even in small increments, you build confidence. Confidence built on progress is stable because it is earned through discipline. Winning the day is the foundation of winning your life. The future is nothing more than a collection of well-managed days. Many people feel overwhelmed because they attempt to conquer years at once. They think about 5-year plans, 10-year visions, lifetime goals, and they feel intimidated. But the future does not arrive in decades. It arrives in days. If you can control today, you are shaping tomorrow. Winning the day requires clarity. What must be accomplished before this day ends for it to be considered successful? Identify it, prioritize it, execute it. Not everything deserves equal attention. Focus creates momentum. When you complete the most important task first, you generate confidence and discipline. Each completed task reinforces your identity as someone who finishes what they start. Structure your day with intention. Guard your mornings. Protect your focus. Limit distractions. Even a 1% improvement in daily structure compounds into massive productivity over time. If you reclaim just 30 wasted minutes per day, you gain over 180 hours in a year. That is time that can be invested in learning, building, improving, refining. Small daily victories create internal momentum. Momentum creates belief. Belief fuels further action. At the end of each day, reflect. Did you use your time wisely? Did your actions align with your goals? Did you take at least one step forward? Reflection strengthens awareness. Awareness sharpens discipline. Discipline shapes destiny. When you approach each day as an opportunity to improve slightly, you remove the pressure of dramatic change and replace it with steady advancement. One focused day leads to another. One disciplined decision reinforces the next. And as days accumulate, so does transformation. Improving 1% every day begins with mastering your mindset. If your thinking is limited, your life will be limited. When you expand your perspective, you expand your possibilities. Growth starts internally before it ever appears externally. Then come your disciplines. Small habits repeated consistently compound into massive results. What feels insignificant today becomes extraordinary tomorrow. The secret is not intensity, it is consistency. You must audit your habits honestly. What you repeat, you become. Awareness gives you control. Control gives you direction. Direction determines destiny. And remember, growth will feel uncomfortable. Discomfort is not a sign you are failing. It is proof you are stretching. Comfort keeps you where you are. Pressure prepares you for where you are going. Do not chase perfection. Chase progress. Measure yourself against who you were yesterday, not against someone else's journey. Small improvement builds confidence. Confidence builds momentum. And finally, win the day. Not the year, not the decade, the day. Stack disciplined days on top of each other and your future will transform naturally. One focused decision at a time. One intentional action at a time. 1% at a time.